I used to think, wonder what I am capable of doing. What I was doing, I was looking at the downside of my life. I wasn't looking at the upside. I was looking at the things I had done wrong. I wasn't looking at my potential.
Okay, let me just stop that for a second. That was Bob Proctor. If you don't know who that was, Bob Proctor is one of the original, or one of the cast members of that movie, Law of Attraction, The Secret. So he was the first speaker when we played the movie. And as a matter of fact, I got to know him through that movie. After watching Law of Attraction, I saw Bob Proctor and I started digging deep into his teachings, his philosophy, his ideology, and pretty much he's good at what he does, as the way he talks about the higher faculties, the way he talks about the mind. Even me, well, I didn't look at prayer like that. He was saying that prayer basically is what you focus on, the image you have in your mind, and you see that thing coming true, happening. You acquire it, whatever you desire. You have to basically, using the law of visualization, affirmation visualization, to now see that thing as real. So the image you have in your mind, and when that image is in your mind, that's when it comes to form. That's prayer. That's a form. That's prayer. So I guess it's in the spirit taking form. When I heard that today, I've listened to this guy over and over for years, but hearing the same thing that I've been listening to, but I heard it in a different context. So the same message that I heard and played back, I think 4-5 years ago, or even longer, I now heard the same message today. It's like the windows of my mind, or it's like you have a blindfold and the blindfold is taken off. You see things differently from the same message. So another word he touched on, which also hit me like, wow, that's so true, was when he talked about the Book of Solomon, or the King Solomon was saying, my people perish for lack of vision. People perish for lack of vision. So he was saying, vision is basically the image you have of something in your mind. The image you have in your mind, that is the vision. Because I don't know, for some reason, I always saw that biblical verse as just in a different context. So the image, let's say you desire anything, the basic needs of human beings are what? Food, shelter, and clothing. When it goes into every other thing, what kind of car and what kind of house, whether in a rich neighborhood, in a poor neighborhood, all that is subjective. That's secondary. The basic necessity is food, shelter, and clothing. So whatever image or whatever your desire, when you have that image, that's your vision. And the vision is what you will manifest, basically. And the vision that you hold in your mind, whether it's positive or negative, what you make real in your beliefs, it's what you definitely would receive. So in rounding up, I'm just going to say, thoughts become things. Thoughts are things. Somebody said, it used to be thoughts are things, but somebody said thoughts are not things. Thoughts are not tangible things. Thoughts are not tangible things. He was giving me his narrative. But my conclusion is thoughts can create things. So whether thoughts are things or thoughts are not things, thoughts can create things. You create everything on the planet was created from thought. I was looking at this house, this building that has been going on for some time. I think it's been going on for maybe a year or something like that. I took pictures of this foundation when it was just foundation. They were just a parking lot there. They started building this project there, and it was foundation. And like each time I go to this place to see patients, I see the progress, the level of progress, even to the point when it was one-story building, now it's about 4-story buildings. And the thought that was just going in my head is, wow, this building had an architect. An architect had the vision of what this house will be. He put this vision down on paper. Now the vision, the plan is what the bricklayers, the construction people put down and lay this construction, these tools one by one, step by step, based on the vision that is on paper. As a matter of fact, you know how they had a blown up picture of this house, of this construction, of this office suites. They had a completed picture in front of the fence, and they're saying coming soon, coming 2025. So they have a date, they have the image, they have the specifics about where they're going. That's exactly what manifestation is. That's exactly how visualization is. There's no difference. There's no difference in visualization. There's no difference in manifestation. So as an architect will visualize the structure of the building that he's building, that the construction people are going to build. That is how you have a vision of what you want to manifest. You have a clear picture of what you want, what you desire, right? And now, when you have that picture of what you desire, how are you going to talk about that thing? Are you going to have that vision, have that prayer in the morning, and you step out and all day you talk about how hard things are, how the economy is going down, how people are getting sick, how everybody relationship is not working, how this one broke up, this one about to break up, this happened and that happened, and everything we talk about is something negative, okay? Now, you had this day at work or whatever business you do, all your speech all day long was, when you review, it was nothing empowering. Now, you wonder, does manifestation work? How long does it take to manifest this or manifest that? Which I answer by saying, the right question to ask is, what if manifestation works? So the vision that an architect has when he's building a project, which is what plan the construction will follow. They don't deviate from the plan. By the set date of completion, the project will manifest physically. But while the project is going on, you're seeing changes, you're seeing the effect. I saw a coworker today, and I was like, wow, you look like you're losing weight. You look slimmer. You look like you've lost weight. And then she goes, oh yes, I've changed the way I eat. I work out a couple times a day. I do this, I do that, I do this, I do that, I do this, I do that. And I'm like, okay. She was like, I'm glad you noticed, because most people here don't even see me like that. I've lost 40 pounds. So she's lost 40 pounds. The people she works with every day don't see it, but I haven't seen her in a while, and I saw it. There was a difference in her appearance. Basically, when you start affirming and using affirmations the right way, which I've talked about a lot here, which is using the 3 Ps, things go into effect. Things are happening. It's like that building. You've started a project. So there's a plan, there's a process, there's a time gap. So this process of transformation is the small things we do every day, which goes unnoticed, unacknowledged, that end up exploding. And then we see people say it's had a transformation. So transformation is not something that happens like that. It's a small process, gradual, daily. You start working out. You go to the gym in the morning, go in the afternoon, you go on Monday, you go Tuesday, you go Wednesday, you go Thursday, or however often you go. The process of going, each time you put in that work, something is happening. You're building that muscle, you're building that body, you're toning that body, you lose shedding of that pounds. Weight is or weight loss or weight gain or fit body, exercise, health and fitness is one of the best way of explaining spiritual principles, explaining the supernatural, explaining the law of mind. The process is a gradual process. You keep affirming, you say the words in the positive tense, present tense, and personal, because the vision was seen in the mind of him, the builder, the personal. It's always in the mind of the visionary, which is you. You are the visionary. It's your vision. It's what you want to manifest. You are the one that will see that picture. You are the one that will sell that dream. You are the one that will sell that vision. That's when it comes into sales. Now you have a vision and you sell it to your team. So you get the vision. You have that inspiration. You have that idea. You have that image. You see that image that you want. The image that you want, your vision. You talk about it morning, noon, night. You fantasize about it. You are obsessed by your vision. If it's to lose weight, if it's to get more money, if it's to have a great relationship, whatever you do, right? That vision, that desire, what you want, you hold it. You are clear about it. You talk about it. You speak about it. You write about it. You think about it day and night. There's no way that thing will not come to pass. Now you begin to understand how the process of being a successful person, of being a wealthy person, of being a successful business, of being a successful blogger, influencer, of being a successful sports athlete, an athlete, that process, that vision, the same principle works. I've talked to athletes and I talked to a football player, someone that has won NFL, has a couple NFL rings. He's a right cornerback for the Oakland Raiders back in his days when he was playing. So he said, before the play, I visualize that the quarterback is going to put the ball here. And this is the man that I'm tackling. If he goes to the right, this is how I'm going to go. If he goes to the left, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go faster. I'm going to go on the count. He was just telling me the process that goes through in his visualization. So he visualizes the play. He reads what's going on in his mental faculty. He's visualized it. So when it comes to game day and the quarterback does a certain way, he's already there. He's intercepting plays. He's just phenomenal. He said that is how great players become great. Skill is important. Hard work is important. The visualization is also important. That's what takes average players to great players. Even there was one time Michael Jordan was talking about his process. No, it got to a point now. Michael was so good at what he does, right? So Michael now tells players when they're going to have a game, he's going to tell the defender, he finds out who's guarding him. So Michael tells the guard, look, in the third quarter, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to dribble the ball to the right and I'm going to go to the left. I'll pass it under my legs, take it around and slam it. Game begins. First quarter, second quarter, third quarter. Michael Jordan does exactly the play, does the same exact thing and dumps it. Now he's like a magician, you would say, or he's like a god. He's like a supernatural being now because this man not only has skills, but he can tell you the future, what's going to happen and exactly how it's going to happen, and he executes it. Anyways, that is how we have to become. That is how I have to become with manifestation. So manifestation is even a journey that I'm going through. That's why I don't talk about what I've not practiced, what has not worked in my life. I don't talk about it. I can share ideas with you. It's a journey, it's a process, it's a real thing. Use affirmations, use the 3 P's: personal, positive, present tense. Enjoy the rest of your evening. This is Ike Onwuoha. I hope you were looking and following the links in my bio and see what's going on. All right, I'm out of here. Enjoy your evening. It is well. Affirm, affirm, affirm.